Dr. Drew at 9.
Toppled over the last straw. My daughter, my 16-year-old, was just mouthy.
Okay.
And it's ridiculous.
Okay.
She calls me names.
What kind of names she call you?
Stupid. And I forgot to get the mail yesterday. This is the worst thing I've ever done in my life.
Did you ever get smacked when you were a kid?
My daddy's a belt. We didn't even think about disrespecting our parents.
Do you know what kind of condition they're in?
They're a mess.
They're a mess? Are they alive or dead?
I don't know.
What do you think?
I hope so.
You hope what?
I hope they're dead.
The prosecution putting its evidence and its proof right in front of that jury, and only 3 days to do so. And what are they trying to show? Intent, deliberation, and purpose. About this case to them, it's all about premeditation and how they do it. The journals, you remember that she kept those journals showing what she would do, the emails that she wrote, the post-it notes that she kept around the house, and of course, the purchasing of that gun for the purpose of killing her kids. And in the prosecution and in their theory, what do they want to show? That she meant to do what she did, killing those children because they were just too mouthy. Take a listen.
Ma'am, that's not the inquiry, and we're not going to respectfully play that game.
I'm not playing game, Your Honor.
No, if I read this, I'm telling him to accept these facts as true. Do you understand that? Counsel, you need to take more time with your client because I'm
In court, there was fireworks as she basically gets into a nasty argument with the judge. The judge asked her to confirm a document that essentially establishes the date of her children's death. And she refuses to do so, acting like she doesn't understand, and then bursts into tears.
Julie, let me ask you, what do you think should happen to you?
I don't want to go to prison or jail.
There was a huge victory for prosecutors yesterday because over the objections of the defense, they got to play the police interrogation of this woman.
Do you know where they're at right now? Tell me where.
Goes in the van.
Okay, and where is your daughter?
In bed.
Where at? Do you know what kind of condition they're in? They're a mess. Are they alive or dead?
I don't know.
What do you think?
I hope so.
You hope what?
I hope they're dead.
You hope they're dead?
What do you think?
They're dead.
Why can't we call that evil, those delusional thoughts? I think it just arose by any other name. It is evil.
She says that she shot him because they called her names, like ridiculous, that they were sassy and mouthy. She clearly, according to her own words, had planned the massacre, as she describes it, for days ahead of time.
Did you shoot both? With that 38?
Inside of the head.
Okay.
And then I did his mouth, too.
Oh, you shot him twice in the head?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because they're too sassy.
Okay. So then after that happened with Bo, is that when you went in and did that with Kayleigh?
And our dream team is back for today from Los Angeles, former prosecutor Lonnie Coombs, and right here in Atlanta, HLN law enforcement analyst Mike Brooks, and of course, criminal defense and personal injury attorney John Phillips. Now, guys, when you hear the confession, all right, the police going through the confession with her, a lot of viewers are wondering, why is this even going to trial? So, John, take us through. Why is this going to trial?
You know, they've almost conceded the elements of murder. You know, the premeditation, all of that is clear. Right. The issue is the very rare insanity defense. That, you know, sometimes people think that happens a lot. It really doesn't. It's 1% to 2% or less of cases.
Right.
I think like 0.1%. But that's the issue, is whether she could have formulated, you know, any logic into this, or whether she was just, you know, kind of off the rocker.
Just gone. And Lonnie, what do you think about that? I mean, in terms of the case, and, you know, look, 2 children dying or being killed by their mother, that's shocking enough and establishes insanity. But I think that there are arguments to be made on both sides. Do you think that the prosecution could establish intent, or do you think that she was just mentally ill?
Oh, I think the prosecution can absolutely show intent, from her writing in her journal to what she said in her confession afterwards. People have to understand that clearly she's mentally ill. The prosecution even said that. Look, we know she's mentally ill. She's been mentally ill for years. That's not why we're seeking the death penalty. But once you step into a courtroom, when you're determining whether someone is legally insane, that is very different from being mentally ill.
It absolutely
And so the fact that she's mentally ill is just one factor, but you have to decide now, did she understand what she was doing was right or wrong when she did it? Did she understand what she was doing? She wrote about it in her journal. She planned it out. She had to wait for the gun. She had to go back 3 days later. She was irritated about it because she had planned for a Saturday massacre. Now she had to put her plans off. I mean, she knew point by point what she was going to do, and then she left notes afterwards, lies to people, trying to cover it up, and then these notes to get at her husband. She was angry. This was vengeful against her husband, who she was mad at for leaving her and potentially divorcing her. So
sounds like you're on the prosecution team. Lonnie Coombs, good job.
Fancy that.
So let's take a look at something. Let's discuss some of the shocking things that we heard from herself, right? Julie Schenecker herself in the police interview. Now, first up, she was talking about killing her son. She tells the detective, "I hated shooting him, but he's better." When the investigator then asks, well, what she means by better, she then clarifies, right? And what does she say? It's better than carbon monoxide. That's what I was going to do. She planned to poison him in the garage. Now, we've already talked about how that goes to premeditation, right? But, Mike, I mean, do you think that that could be construed as a person who's just nuts and off their rocker?
No. And that's why the prosecution, they saved the best for last, these tapes, because it shows that at the time of the shooting, she knew exactly what she was doing. She knew right from wrong. And then she said he's better because they're going to use carbon monoxide. So she changed, the way she was going to do it. So does she know right from wrong? Absolutely.
I say she may not know right from wrong. It only took them 3 days to put their case in. Let's see what the defense has to say. Lonnie, John, Mike, and I'm sure the defense is going to have a lot to say about this, all right? So we're going to see. Stay tuned on that. So does Julie Schenecker, does she seem methodical to you? Our dream team seems to think so. Or is she mentally ill, which I might tend to think? When we come back, we'll listen to some more of those police interrogation tapes and let you be the judge. And you can read the entire Schenecker interrogation transcript right here at HLNTV.com. And coming up,